All right, students, so this is our writing time part 2. We will be working on our journal and our writing handbook, so make sure you have this out. So, our question is, well, first off, I already did it. Write your name up top, circle what day it is. What animals can you see at the zoo? That's our question. So let's see, what do you think this animal is? A lion? What about that one? A tiger? You better know what this one is. An elephant? And a giraffe. So, it says, at the zoo we can see. Is that a complete sentence? No, we need to write in what you can see at the zoo. So it gives us some options here. You can write at the zoo we can see a lion or a tiger or an elephant or a giraffe. So, what do you think you'd like to choose? You can use the words in here to help you. If there's an animal that you know you can see at the zoo that's not on here, you can use it, but when you try to spell it, you don't have something to copy, so you'll have to try to sound it out. So, Mrs. Brown is going to write about the elephant because elephants are her favorite animal. If you'd like to choose something else, you can choose something else. At the zoo, we can see a elephant. Now, there's a funny rule that we have in our language, and it's when you have a vowel, when the word starts with a vowel, like an elephant, so it starts with an E, we need to make sure that we don't have a vowel right next to it as a word by itself. So when we have a elephant, sometimes that'll confuse someone. So if you chose elephant, you need to write an N after the A. So it makes the word an. It means the same thing as a, but it just helps us understand that the A is separated from the elephant. So at the zoo, we can see an elephant. Now, I will show you an example of a different one. So there's the one I chose. I'm just doing that so I can separate my example from the first one I did. So at the zoo, we can see a, what do you think? Tiger. Let's do tiger. So at the zoo, we can see a tiger. So you realize this one didn't start with a vowel. It didn't start with an E or an A or an I or a U. It started with a T, so we could keep our A there. I know that's confusing, and if you mess that up, that's okay. If you use a or an, I'll know what you're talking about because this is something that's a little bit hard for us to understand still. So, what do I care about? What does Mrs. Brown care about? In our sentences, we care about a capital letter, a period. What else? A noun? Yes, we have 2 nouns in here. We have a place, a zoo, and we have a animal, a tiger. At the zoo, we can see a tiger. So I wonder, if I didn't have any nouns, what would this sentence look like? It would look like, at the, we can see a. That doesn't make sense. So our nouns help our sentence make sense. Let's double check. I use capital letters. Sure did. I use spaces. Yep. I use punctuation. Yes, I did. So now you can go and draw a picture of the animals you would see at the zoo. All right, we're moving on to our writing handbook. Our writing handbook, we are doing lesson 1. So We have to get there first. Went a little too far. All right, this is the page we want. It is page 15 and 14, and it says labels. So make sure you have that book open to these pages. Pause the video if you're not ready, and then come back and press play when you are ready. Okay, so this is all about labels, and we kind of did that with our reading workbook pages. It says a label names an object. It tells what something is or what it looks like. So, a label can be one word, such as chair or book. A label can be more than one word, such as red chair or big book. So here's a picture, and our labels tell us what things are. So it says book, shelf, and mat. And it's all on the items that it's explaining what it is. So, what you're going to do is you are going to label some of the items in this picture. So, you have the big picture up top, and then parts of that picture at the bottom. So this part is what? What is this? A tree. So we're going to write tree. What is this? The duck's swimming in it. A pond. And what is that? Quack, quack, a duck. A duck. So we have a tree, a pond, and a duck. So what are we going to do with our tree, pond, and duck? We need to label our picture up here. This was us just making sure that we knew what the words are, and also so it can help you spell the words when you're doing your nice labels. So I'm going to point to this tree and write tree. Do I have to point to everyone? No, I don't. Now, what about the next word? Pond, pond. So I'm going to write pond and point to the pond. And then duck is our next one. I'm going to write duck right here and point to the duck. So labels help people understand what the pictures are. So if we didn't have this and we just had this big picture here, if someone didn't know what the word for this object was, they could look and see, oh, that's a tree, or oh, that's a duck. So it helps people understand your pictures, especially when you draw pictures really, really fast, and sometimes you give it to your parent and they're like, what is this? And you have to explain it. Well, sometimes you can use labels to help explain your drawings, and that's just what you're going to do. So, one of your assignments is for you to get a piece of paper, draw a picture, and label 3 objects in it. So I want you to get a piece of paper, draw any picture you want. It could be anything. And I want you to label 3 objects in it. So just like we did here. And then how are you going to turn it in? Well, you can either email it to me, or you can bring it to our morning meeting tomorrow on Tuesday and show it to me on camera. And I'll make sure to get your grade for it that way. But I want you to practice labeling objects in your picture. And remember, this week we are working on nouns, so all of your labeling are all going to be nouns. All right, that is it for our writing time, and see you again soon.